Hi, my name is Corey Biazzo, and I'm a practicing American civil litigation attorney, and you are watching Executive Coup. In today's episode, we're going to change gears again from our normal programming to discuss what to do if you are approached by the police or ICE while you're out in public. The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states in part, quote, Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The First Amendment applies to any person that is present within the physical United States, regardless of whether they are a U.S. citizen. While the U.S. Supreme Court has not yet addressed this issue, several U.S. Circuit Courts of Appeals have found that taking photos and filming in public places is also protected First Amendment conduct. In the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, for example, in a case called AM-CL Union of Illinois versus Alvarez in 2012, held, quote, the act of making an audio or audiovisual recording is necessarily included within the First Amendment's guarantee of free speech and press rights as a corollary of the right to disseminate the resulting recording. Also know that the police generally cannot search the contents of your phone or make you delete contents according to the U.S. Supreme Court's 2014 ruling in a case called Riley versus California. If you are approached by police or ICE, it's always best to remain polite, respectful, and even-keeled. You're protected by the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution from unreasonable searches and seizures of your person and your belongings. And remember, you are permitted to film your encounter as long as you do not obstruct lawful police or ICE actions, for example, such as lawfully arresting another individual in your vicinity. The Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states in part, quote, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. The Fourth Amendment applies to any person that is present within the physical United States, regardless of whether they are a U.S. citizen. If you are stopped or detained by police or ICE, be polite, don't resist, and ask, am I free to go? Remember, until you ask to leave, being stopped is considered voluntary. If the police respond, no, you are not free to go, or something along those lines, then you're being detained. If you're being detained, politely ask what crime you're suspected of committing. In order to detain you, police or ICE must have a reasonable suspicion that you are engaged in or about to engage in criminal activity. Generally, the authority of ICE to detain you only relates to violations of U.S. federal immigration law. That reasonable suspicion must be based on specific facts that the police can articulate. Police and ICE cannot detain you based solely on, quote, inchoate and unparticularized suspicions or hunches. There must be, quote, some minimal level of objective justification for making a stop. Keep in mind, though, if you feel that you're being unlawfully detained, ask to contact an attorney and let them sort it out, and do not answer any questions and state that you will not answer any questions until you've spoken with an attorney. The U.S. Supreme Court has stated in a case called United States versus Socolow in 1989, quote, the concept of reasonable suspicion, like probable cause, is not readily or even usefully reduced to a neat set of legal rules. In evaluating the validity of a stop, we must consider the totality of the circumstances, the whole picture. Know that if you are stopped, if officers have a reasonable belief under the circumstances, they can conduct an exterior pat-down of your body known as a Terry stop to feel for weapons for officer safety. The Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states in part, quote, No person shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. This means that the government does not have the authority to make you answer questions that may incriminate yourself. The Fifth Amendment applies to any person that is present within the physical United States, regardless of whether they were a U.S. citizen. The Sixth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states in part, quote, "In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to have the assistance of counsel for his defense." This means that you have the right to speak with an attorney before answering any questions from the police or ICE. The Sixth Amendment applies to any person that is present within the physical United States, regardless of whether they are a U.S. citizen. You have the right to remain silent. You do not have to discuss anything with the police or ICE, including issues of your immigration status, whether you're a U.S. citizen, or anything. If you have valid immigration documents and you have lawful status within the United States, you should show them. If you're arrested, say that you wish to speak to a lawyer before answering any questions. After making that clear, police or ICE should honor that request. They cannot compel you to say anything once you have invoked those rights. Immediately contact an attorney as soon as possible if you believe your rights have been violated by a government official. If a state or local official violates your constitutional rights, you may have a claim where you could recover damages under 42 United States Code 1983, titled Civil Action for Deprivation of Rights. If a federal official violates your constitutional rights, you may have a claim where you could recover damages, which is called a Bivens claim under the 1973 U.S. Supreme Court precedent case named Bivens versus 6 unknown named agents. Keep following Executive Coup for further updates on the apparent executive coup attempt that is unfolding in the U.S. federal government at the direction of President Donald J. Trump. Thank you.